welcome to Where's Monkey Hanging? Monkey is hanging in the pub. Hello! Welcome to Where's Monkey Hanging, and a rather impromptu update on my spring fishing. We are at Southings Lane Fishery, which is run by Embryo. It was actually the first... Hang on! Sweet, nice little linear in the net. It's 2 fish now this afternoon, but anyway, we'll get to those in a minute. Need to sort these out and I'll get back to what I was trying to say earlier, and then we'll catch up with where I am now. See you in a little bit. Okay, so that was a bit of fun, wasn't it? Chance to finish off my tea, or even start my tea. Right, so we'll get to those in a minute, but yeah, I just want to talk about my spring. It's the end of May now, and 2.5 months ago, I started on concentrating on this Southings Lane fishery, which is run by Embryo. It was the first Embryo syndicate water that opened back, I think, 3 or 4 years ago now. I feel quite attached to this place because I was here when they stocked it in December. I think it must have been 2015. When I was working for Carp, came down, saw the first fish go in. Viv Shears was here bringing his VS fish, and yeah, it's only like 15 minutes from my house and like 5 minutes from the Carp office at the time, and 10 minutes from DNA now, so perfect location for me. And but despite sort of getting a ticket early on, I never really concentrated on it, just did the odd night here and there. But I decided this spring I would concentrate on it the best I can, because all my sort of fishing is overnighters, and I get one a week, and even that is a quick overnighter. The missus is a teacher. We've got 2 kids, so it's normally on a Thursday night when I get to come down. I've got to wait for her to come home, which is normally sort of 6 o'clock at night, once I've picked up the kids and done tea and all that sort of stuff. So I get down here, and get the rods out and fish till 8 o'clock and then go home. And so bite time on this sort of place is normally when I'm pulling off really. There's a lot of bites in the day. But I thought when I started on here, I'll try a few different things and see if I can pick up some fish in the night, which it doesn't normally do. So yeah, it hasn't quite been as easy or as productive as I hoped. First session was in the middle of March, which was a blank. The second session, I managed to get off the mark for the year with this lovely linear. My second night of the season on the Southings Syndicate run by Embryo. First night was last week, was a blank. However, the second one has produced this absolute banger. 16 pound 2 ounces. It's actually the second fish of the night, because I did have a little 4 or 5 pounder, but this is very much, well, I'm considering as the first fish of the season, because what a way to start. Absolutely buzzing with this. Fell to a zig, fished over the zig that I've had soaking in sticky sweet all winter, and fished it over the marginal ledge just past some new weed growth. Went off at 7 o'clock this morning. What a fish, absolutely buzzing. They're absolutely beautiful fish, that one, so I was really pleased with that. And that was on a zig, I seem to remember. Just fished over like a marginal ledge. And after that I think I did another session in that swim to no avail, and then I decided to start concentrating on the main pit. There's 3 pits here, but it's essentially 2. It was initially 3 pits, and then they dug the causeway between pit 1 and pit 2 to create one big pit, which is probably about 10 acres I expect, between 8 and 10 acres. But there is a bigger side of those 2, and I decided to concentrate on that one because in November I had 3 fish off a particular spot, like a 27-foot spot, and I thought if I could keep coming down every week and putting the bait in there, even coming down midweek and baiting up and whatnot, then it should give me a chance, maybe in the morning when I packed up, and maybe even in the night really. That's what I hoped. But anyway, that was the plan. So I got down to that particular swim, started baiting it. I think the first session I lost one, and then the next session I got my second fish of the year, which I remember being a nice mid-double scaly. Here we are then, no monster, but another beautiful Southings mirror. 15 pound 4. Beautiful fish. Brilliant start to the Easter weekend. Take on an S7 18mm bottom bait, which I plug in for quite a while. Tipped with an S7 half-tones pop-up. Over loads of S7 pellet and chops and spod syrup, which I've been putting in since I got here, and the spot finally delivered. So yeah, well pleased with that. A lovely fish. So after that fish, I continued in that swim, kept baiting it, and I think I did about 2 or 3 blanks in a row after that, and decided as the spring was progressing, the weather was warmer, that I needed to sort of change swim. I was probably fishing a little bit too deep. Oh, that's what I sort of decided at the time. So I flitted around in a few different spots. And then all I really picked up after that was some of the sort of 2-3 pound fish. There's quite a lot of grown on fish in here. There's not many other species other than carp, so those, when after the carp spawn, the little fish tend to thrive. So we try and take those out best we can, but there's still quite a lot of them in here. But then after that I was struggling a bit really. I think I did about 3 or 4 blank nights in a row, and that got me into May, and May's normally my favourite month of the year. Absolutely love it, like most people. But it just wasn't happening for me. So it got to half term, as it is now, the end of May, and that meant I had a bit more time to get out on the bank. So I took today off, knowing that it would give me a chance of some daytime bites, and came down yesterday after work about 4 o'clock, got in a swim. I like the look of. I think I did a few fish over the weekend a few days ago, and after getting in the swim I saw a fish show down the margin, flicked a rod down there, and I got off the mark straight away with this really nice, well, only a little fish, but a beautiful scaly mirror. Have a look at this little beauty. Nice, isn't it? One of the fish that have grown on in here, but, well, presumably it's certainly bigger than the average sort of grown on fish in here. They're normally like £2-3 pound. This is, well, if it isn't a match it'd count, put it that way, with a £5 limit. You're looking at probably, I don't know, £5-6 pound maybe. Hard to say, but what a beautiful fish. Lovely job. Nice way to start the session. Just caught down the edge on S7 wafter. After that I started concentrating on a spot out in open water, putting out just loads of S7, which is what I've been introducing, S7 pellet, 8 millers, chops, spod syrup, and then at 9 o'clock at night picked up the second fish of the session, which was a very dumpy 18 pound mirror. Fish number 2 of the session, just past 9 o'clock on the first night, 18 pound 2. Dumpy fish, caught from an open water spot over a load of bait that I've been spotting out since I got here. Hopefully we're going to be in for a few this session. I think I'm owed it after a few blank nights prior to this session. Just got the rod back on the spot. I'm going to put a little bit more bait in and we'll see what happens in the night. That was good going into the first night last night, and I knew that once it got dark, chances, sorry, there's a plane going over. Once it got dark there probably wouldn't be too many chances, so I managed to get a decent night's sleep last night. Got up at 4 this morning, put out a bit more bait in the hope of a bit of a morning feeding spell, but that never materialised. So, but I've stuck with it and I've kept topping up the spots. And well, I'm not really sure at the time, I think it's about 4:30, and an hour ago I had a rip intake, an absolutely brilliant fight from a common which I've got in the sling, and then after putting that in the sling quickly jumped on the camera as you saw, and had my 4th take, which is now a nice little linear which is in the net. So I think we better have a look at them, and hopefully there's going to be a few more to come. Beautiful, isn't it? As well as the VS fish, they stocked quite a few commons from the Lee Valley. Certainly looks like it's one of them. Absolutely golden. Beautiful fish. Well pleased with that one. Yes. All I need now is a 20 pounder from this session. I'll be more than happy. I'm already happy, but nice to get a 20. Right, a few stills of this and get her back and top up the swim. So that is end of session. Fortunately nothing else to report after those 2 fish yesterday afternoon. Quite surprised really, because after 2 fish that quickly, sort of expected a few more to follow in the evening, but the tufties moved in. There's absolutely loads on here on this lake now, and wouldn't leave me alone really, and that won't have helped. But nonetheless, it's been a good session, 4 fish, and I think that pretty much is going to conclude my spring on here now. River season starts in a couple of weeks. Those fish are quite willing to feed in the night, so that's probably going to occupy quite a bit of my attention coming up in the next sort of few months. I've got a match, British Carp Cup singles coming up at the end of June, so that's something to think about as well. But yeah, it's been an enjoyable spring. Hard, but had some results in the end, so yeah, I've enjoyed it. So maybe see you again in the future. Ta-ra.